a lot of souls are completing their karma with partners from past lifetimes faster. And they know that. And the relationship is complete. And if we gave ourselves the opportunity to recognize a relationship completion, we would really skip the part where we have to create a story that villainizes the other person so that we feel justified to leave. Welcome to the Wine and Spirits Portalcast, a gateway to go beyond the story, bring those big why questions out to play, and transcend them into spiritual understanding. I'm your host, Salwa, Ascension Guide, Light Code Activator, Imperfect Human, Weirdo who talks to spirits more than humans, and Divine Smartass, on a mission to help activate the masses while enjoying the full spectrum of this human experience. Join me as we ask, receive, and activate. Hi guys, welcome back to the Wine and Spirits Portalcast, a gateway to go beyond the story and transmute those big why questions into spiritual understanding. So, I know if you're watching on video, you're like, does she have other outfits? I do. I just decided to stack record some episodes, and the old Saul would have been like, outfit change. But me, I'm like, fuck that. Like, I don't have time to go outfit change. All of this stuff is flowing. You got to just hit record and go. And you guys know I own more clothes. And if you don't believe it, then I'll start a GoFundMe. You can send money so I can buy clothes. That's it. If you don't like seeing the same outfit, please Venmo me some money and I promise I'll go shopping for you. Okay. So today's why that we're talking about it's a pretty big one for me personally. It's part of my life story that I've transcended. And it is probably something that a lot of people, I don't know that I don't know the statistics, but it's a hell of a lot of people in America, in the world, going through this, and it's divorce. Why divorce? Now, I want you to please listen without judgment or looking at me like I think that I've figured it all out. I am simply sharing what I've received because not only do I know where it comes from and I trust the source, but I know how healing it is and I know how much people need to hear it. So, and just for those of you that don't know, I'm divorced. I married my high school sweetheart and we were married for 15 years, dating for 6, had 3 beautiful children. And then this is the Cliff Note version, right? I knew it was time to leave that marriage because we were vibrationally unaligned. And the vibrational frequency unalignment was such that it just was going to take too much from my energy to calibrate to being in that relationship. And also it was going to be a disservice to both of us. Our marriage was complete. Which brings me to my first point. If you, and divorce, breakup, whatever you want to call it, some people have been together a long time and it feels like they're married. So I don't care too much about the label. I don't believe there's any such thing as a failed marriage. Okay. There's not. There is no failure. There is just completion. You showed up for a karmic agreement with somebody at a soul level. And the reason why divorce is so much more frequent now, keyword being frequent, is because we're more frequent. Our frequency is a lot faster than it was back in the days. Back in the days where we were here for survival more than ascension. Humanity had to iron out survival things, and marriage was one of them. And it was a very contractual agreement. Through those lifetimes, we've accumulated relationships with others and stories and karma that we have to show up again, to harmonize, to complete. So a lot of people by this point in time are coming into union with souls that they have lifetimes with, which comes with karma. So you want to talk about baggage, and people think that you bring baggage. I'm putting that in quotations because from other relationships. picture this baggage from your very own relationship with this soul in other lifetimes. So, can you imagine the accumulation of stuff? And you have agreements, whether you want to or not, contractual energetic agreements. So, you cannot get out of those. You can wish the person was dead and maybe they'll die. You'll be like, hey, I don't know who would celebrate that, but hey, no judgment here. Guess what? You're going to meet with them again and you have karma to harmonize. And as we come back in a higher frequency, we move through things a lot faster. And that includes our karma, our soul lessons, the unfinished business. A lot of souls are completing their karma with partners from past lifetimes faster. And they know that. And the relationship is complete. And if we gave ourselves the opportunity to recognize a relationship completion, we would really skip the part where we have to create a story that villainizes the other person so that we feel justified to leave. And we'll do that because it's part of the human experience. We like stories, remember? That's why we're here to transcend stories. We like stories. Stories illustrate our energy. And we're in this planet that's visual and tactile and massy. Like we can't just say like, oh, my energy was, these codes were a little, so I needed no, we need stories. We need physicality. We need experiences. We need to see, we need to hear and tell people he did that, So at an energetic level, we will stay in a relationship, not always honor that knowing like, hey, I think this one is complete. And then we will create the physical story that will honor the completion. And that usually looks pretty dirty. That can look like affairs. That can look like fighting. That can look like even worse, numbing out. To be honest, that is the worst thing. You're living in the same house. You don't even sleep in the same room. And you're numbed out. You are turning off your superpower, which is that heart energy. You might as well be out there doing drugs and cheating on your spouse. And it's no better. It is no better. So if you're in a relationship, a marriage, whatever, that you feel trapped in, I want to gift you the opportunity to go within and ask yourself, might this just be complete? Another reason why divorce is happening so much more. Because of our higher vibrating frequency and the states in which we are living here, we ourselves die several times in a lifetime, and rebirth ourselves. And if you don't, you might need to do more work. So marriage, till death do you part, right? They never specified physical death. What about energetic death? What about death of old self? And sometimes your partner, and I know it exists, can be with you through that death and rebirth and can ascend with you to the next level of your rebirth, because your rebirth is other level. Sometimes your partner did not have that same death and rebirth energetic experience. And not only can they not go with you, they don't have the capacity to hold space for it because it just becomes this mirror to them of what they're not doing. And so that's where things come in, like a partner that is controlling. Like, I'm going to control, I'm not going to let you spend, I'm not going to let you travel because a part of me sees your energy is vibrating higher and I want to control it. I want to keep you here because if I keep you here, that means we still work. That was a little bit of what my marriage was. And the best thing to do when you are in that relationship is to look at the person and give them so much love and gratitude because they were there at that particular energetic life frequency of you, and honor the completion. Because let me tell you, the amount of energy that it takes to calibrate to a relationship that you are no longer frequency aligned to will suck the life out of you. I repeat, a little louder for the people in the back, it will suck the life out of you. You are going to be using your life force energy, which you could be using to create, to ascend, to activate the grid, to show up for your mission and purpose. You're going to be using that energy to fuel staying in it. Is that what you want? Is that what they want? To know that they're holding you back? I think deep down they don't want that. Nobody wants that. So, take a drink out of my chalice. I encourage you to start looking at divorce a little differently. And I'm also going to talk about the people that think that they're doing the right thing by wearing a badge of honor. Like, I've been married this many years, and then they don't love their spouse, or they don't have the energy of loving their spouse. And I was just talking about this with my partner, Tony, because everybody thinks we're married. And I correct them all the time because I'm like, well, I don't want to, I feel, am I lying? They're like, your husband. I'm like, oh no, he's my partner. I don't know, because we're too old to be boyfriend and girlfriend. We're too old and too intentional. That's really what it is. We are too intentional. We've lived together for a while. He's taken in my kids. I love his. Like, we're building life. We're on mission together. So boyfriend, doesn't really feel right. But we haven't really gotten quote unquote married. So I correct people all the time and they still say that. And I was telling Tony, I'm like, you know what? I think it's because we have the energy of being husband and wife. And to be honest, the energy is so much better than the label. I've had the label and didn't carry the energy. Now I have the energy and I'm not in a hurry to get the label. I know it's like, I don't want the quote unquote label. So we are kind of really talking about our union rituals, but that's another one. Back to divorce. Gift yourself permission to zoom out. I always say, look at it from the perspective of your star self. And you're looking at the story that you created. And it was for a lesson and a blessing. And the minute you can take the lesson and the blessing in that relationship, not the victim story, the lesson and the blessing, you can honor its completion. Or maybe you're zooming out. You're like, no, I don't think it's complete. Okay. What do you need to rebirth in that relationship to give it new birth? Because chances are, if it went through this period of I think I'm out, it's because a part of you died and was reborn, and you are waiting for your significant other to catch up and do the same. So the energy of the relationship has to follow and die and be reborn. So then, okay, look at the marriage, look at the relationship as its own energy, and how do we kill it and rebirth it? It sounds like, let's kill it, but you know what I mean. But as a whole, we are just not moving through relationships as slow or as settling as we used to, because we know we're here to do big things. And being here to do big things requires big, harmonious, divine, feminine, masculine union. And it really saddens me, the amount of shame that people get put on. And you know what? I have the friends that have been married forever, and I know they don't sleep in the same room as their spouse, and they think they're doing the kids, they're doing it for the kids. And I just see right through that, because I'm like, your kids see, they feel your energy. They see that. If you think that this is setting a good example for them, numbing out, then you got another thing coming. I actually call bullshit. You're not doing it for the kids. You are not in this marriage for the kids. You're in it for you, because you're fucking scared. Because let me tell you, the minute you decide to get a divorce, it's like the rug gets pulled out from under you, because it is time to set a new foundation. But the foundation does not even get set until you've been tested and tried to the core. And signing up for that is not for the weak. So those of you going through divorce, don't ever let your married friends with the white picket fence shame you. You're actually braver than a lot of them will ever be. Don't let the church shame you. Don't let anybody shame you, because you are taking an action that honors your heart intelligence. And that is to be commendable. That is necessary. Humanity needs you to step up and honor your heart knowing, and make the decisions that maybe don't support that storyline that we've created over a successful relationship. But the only successful relationship that you really need to prioritize is that with you and your higher self. And by prioritizing that, the other ones fall into place. And I will tell you one more thing with my divorce. It took 3 years. And I know why it took 3 years. I didn't know at the time. At the time, it looked like, oh, well, then he started harassing me. So I had to do this. And then CFI, like blah, blah, blah. Like those were the stories, right? Those were the stories. We're humans. We like stories. But the actual core of it was that I had a victim mindset. He didn't support me with my business. He didn't help me buy a sewing machine or pay for whatever. He didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. And not saying that those weren't like hurtful things, but he was only he was playing the part that at an energetic agreement, he and I at a soul level had agreed to show up and play. He was going to play the part of that so that I could be on my self-empowerment path. And I'm talking the minute, because I had a moment with my guys. I'm like, it's been 3 years. My bank account is struggling. My emotional, mental, physical energy is struggling. The kid, like, can we just get this done? And my guys were like, sit down. You're going to write this letter to his soul. I wrote a soul letter to my ex, giving love and gratitude and acknowledging the lesson and the blessing, and including the blessing of him showing up to play parts that kind of made him look like the bad guy. But he was just playing a storyline to serve the energy that was supposed to be experienced and the emotions that were supposed to be experienced for my own personal growth. I wrote that letter to his soul. They said, write out how you would like it to look. Because we were going to go to court, fight over all the things. I know he has so much in savings. I never wanted his money. I never wanted, like, the energy of that check in my mailbox every month is almost as bad as me like having to go work at McDonald's if I have to make ends meet. No offense to McDonald's, you know. They told me, well, what is an agreement that would feel good to you? Write it down and then complete the letter by saying it is complete 3 times. And so it is. It's complete. I wrote my letter the next day. I called him. This is after a 3-year legal process with all the works, all sorts of people, intervention, CF, like you name it. Sat at a table next to him or across from him. And I was like, let's just like complete it. And because I had already written the letter to his soul and I had marked it complete, I knew that the physical meeting was just a way to like finish it. He agreed. We both left, emailed our attorneys after. My attorney was like, are you crazy? Because like, no child support, you have 3 kids. And I'm like, yeah, I know this is really like a risk. But I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you're walking away from a lot. I'm like, I'm not walking away from a lot. I'm walking into a lot. And I knew that. And I had to honor that. And I think his attorney, I don't know what she's like the biggest bitch in Denver. Like literally that's what she's known for. I'm like, of course I got to go battle it out with the biggest bitch in Denver. But guess what? I have support. I'm good. And it was done. But it wasn't until I wrote that letter, I took myself out of the victim seat. I held nothing against him. I had gratitude, even the moments and the decisions and the actions that maybe he did that made me feel unloved and unsupported at the time. I had to see the gift in those. And writing that letter freed my soul. And it opened me up to my next level. And a relationship after that was like, yeah, I had to graduate to be ready for this relationship, but would not have come. So staying in the marriage, that would not have served. Staying in the victim mode of why I'm leaving, that would not have served. But understanding of that karma is complete. My frequency and my energy now needs to feed other things and staying complacent in this relationship. And I was free. And it's, if you're going through a divorce, I'm sorry. I know it's tough. If you're going through a breakup, I'm sorry. I know it's tough. And if you're going through a divorce with a traditional family like mine, where that is just not a thing, you stay unhappily married after for the rest of your life, well, then I also feel for you because I know. But like, what a beautiful opportunity to show them how to stand up for love, how to let your heart
intelligence guide you. What a beautiful opportunity. They don't know the new way. I love my family, but they don't know. I know how hard it was for my mom. It still is. And I'm showing her slowly a new way of being. So this Portalcast episode is really an invitation to take the words failure out of divorce and breakups, to take the energy of shame out of it, and to actually honor and give you acknowledgement that you are able to step into the unknown and the challenging world of a breakup that is hard, but that honors your heart intelligence. That will always be rewarded.
Thank you for listening. I wholeheartedly hope you received a spark of inspiration, comfort, or new perspective in today's episode. Your support is truly appreciated and necessary on the mission of this Portalcast. If you feel it, please like, comment, share with your world, and leave a review. Stay tuned for the next episode coming soon, and follow on all social platforms linked in the description for all updates. To submit your own why questions to be featured in the show, shoot me a message. Until next time, may the activating life force be with you.